Indian restaurant Desi Darbar in Melbourne's West makes a cracking egg omelette.
Well, this is called the hangover buster. Basically, after a long night out, you want to recover, and this really helps with that. It's a very delicious dish. Pickle, eggs, and
Delicious, but expensive. It takes 4 eggs to make the hangover buster, and Australia's current egg shortage means it's now costing a cash tatuja a fortune.
I lose money when I serve this dish. It's true. Same time last year, I was getting a tray for $13.50, and I'm getting a tray for $27. And then it was being supplied by suppliers, so it was a lot easier for me. So I'm spending money to going and actually buying it ourselves. It takes time, effort, petrol, everything adds up.
I'm not driving a Ferrari, we're not all getting rich. We're literally trying to maintain our margins so that we can keep a viable business.
Just outside of Geelong, Wes Humbidge runs a free-range egg farm. He admits egg prices are becoming extravagant, but says he's not reaping the benefits.
The core part of being an egg farmer is bringing new birds into the farm. The cost increase there, not only the cost increase are huge, but the availability of getting the birds when you want them. This is all having a long-term impact for the industry.
He says over the last 12 months, the price of birds has gone up, which means his egg prices must also go up.
Well, I can certainly see that egg prices are going to remain high through to the back end of 2026. There are other farms coming online, but it just takes so long to bring new birds into lay, new farms online to increase egg supply. That's why I can't see it coming down or stabilising until early 27, to be honest.
Since last year, multiple bird flu outbreaks in Victoria, New South Wales and the ACT wiped out 2.4 million birds. That's 10% of Australia's egg-laying hen population. Egg farmers are still feeling the impact.
We've just recently been prepared by the bird growers that there's a further price increase coming in July. So all farms are making preparations for that, and that's having an impact on egg prices.
Wes is bracing to break the news to his customers. He's raising his egg prices.
I have close relationships with a lot of these businesses that we work with, and passing these costs on, it's hard. It certainly is hard, but if we don't do it, it negatively impacts our business where we're no longer viable.
Danny Martin is a supermarket analyst. He says before the avian flu outbreaks last year, eggs were experiencing a jump in popularity.
Consumer trends have shifted. We're looking at demand for eggs rising for dietary reasons, people looking for healthier diets, some vegetarian diets, but also during the cost of living crunch, people were looking for a protein source that wasn't as expensive as red meat.
He believes the rising cost of operating a chicken farm, combined with hen shortages and consumer trends, is creating the perfect storm for soaring prices.
They've definitely reached quite a peak, a 15-year high.
Eggs are so popular, last year Woolworths and Coles restricted purchases to 2 cartons, which is still in force today.
We've gone without eggs a few times, so let me put it this way, that I've had to send someone over from this side of the city to the other side of the city just to get eggs because we were able to source. To get these eggs, it's becoming a bit of a joke.
Everything we do is eggs. It's really important that we have a sort of steady, consistent stream.
Ewan Millett is the manager of Egg Lab, a cafe in Melbourne's inner city suburb of Fitzroy, specialising in breakfast-style burgers.
90% of our dishes have eggs, so we have 12 menu items and 10 of them have eggs and the other 2 you can add eggs to.
He says the cafe is paying a premium for eggs from multiple suppliers.
6 months ago, you were looking at maybe $60 for a box of eggs, for a box of reasonable good quality eggs, free range. That now you're looking sort of 90, upwards of 90, and that price has just been steadily going up and up and up and up.
Ewan says more cafes, including Egg Lab, are reluctantly turning to caged eggs.
before the outbreaks, it was 100% free range, but now it's just really whatever we can buy at any time. So unfortunately, like, you hate to get cage eggs. It's awful, but it's just whatever you can get, you have to get.
I don't think any of our farming systems are unethical.
Brian Ahmed is a third-generation caged egg farmer. He says avian flu outbreaks are predominantly affecting free-range egg farms.
Unfortunately, we're trying to mass produce free range and the farms are getting bigger. And when we're running bigger farms and more birds outdoors, the risk of disease is getting higher.
He says the federal government's decision to ban caged eggs by 2036 will make the industry more vulnerable to future outbreaks as farms transition to free range.
When we have a disease outbreak in Australia and we lose 10% again, like we have recently, we will not have the caged egg sector to fill the gap, and then they will import eggs from overseas, and that's the last thing we want.
In Australia, no eggs are imported. Free-range eggs make up the majority of supermarket sales at 57%. Caged eggs are 20%. Barn-laid are 21%, and specialty organic eggs make up 2% of sales.
That's inside my shed. That's what it looks like.
Brian Ahmed is determined to save his business. He's exploring legal action against the federal government to fight the ban on the sale of caged eggs.
If you're going to shut our family businesses down, we're going to have to go to court. There's no other way.
Akash is working on ways to keep costs down at his 5 restaurants.
We don't want to put the prices up because end of the day, it might take some of my customers away.
But he is making changes. In the last 3 months, he dropped egg curry from the menu and says more dishes could be on the chopping block.
I would have to say good 10 to 15 dishes, yeah. A lot of dishes would have to be taken out of the menu. And I wouldn't want to do that because that's going to take a lot of my customers away.
Over at Egg Lab, Ewan has had to raise the price of all his egg burgers by 50 cents. And they are even contemplating the unthinkable.
We were having a conversation, my boss and I, about the cafe and just scrapping the eggs and calling ourselves Lab and just doing bacon and nothing else. So yeah, it's a bit of a worry. Like, we joke about it, but there is an undertone of worry there.